Hello, my nomies! This week I'd like to share with you the 7 things I like about my MacBook Pro 15-inch mid-2014. And just in case you think I won't talk about the things I don't like, wait until you see the video I do next week. Spoiler alert, it's going to be 7 things I don't like about it. I'm not going to do that for every product I talk about, but for the most part I see both the good and not so good in things. But truth be told, I like focusing on the positive. The first thing I like is that it's a workhorse. I pretty much do all of my video editing on it, if only because I can pick it up and move it into the other room when I start bed editing. That's when I edit video in bed. Or if I'm traveling, I have everything with me on one machine that I can carry around. You can't really do that with the iMac, and I found that out the hard way. Someone who shall remain nameless is no longer welcome in certain places. How was I to know? They didn't have a no iMac sign on the front door. Anyway, back to the MacBook Pro. Unlike some people who look at a product and then a week later churn out a review, I've actually been using this for quite some time and bought it with my own money. The next thing I like about this MacBook is its Retina display, and it is very, very sharp. Crisp, like an apple. Retina may be a marketing term for Apple. All you need to know is that the screen is wonderful. Every other screen I've seen looks jaggy by comparison. Is that a fair term to use? You may be wondering why I'm not showing you the system. Well, I'm guessing that you could probably go to Google or Bing and look at the images, or maybe even walk into a store that has it. You're here for my opinion, right? One of the reasons I can't show it to you right now is because I'm using it. This video feed is being dumped live into the system by way of a Thunderbolt port. And speaking of port support, it has pretty much every possible port I might need today. So that's another thing that I like, or several things that I like, wrapped up into one point. It's got 2 USBs, 1 HDMI, and an additional The next thing I like is the screen. Now, I'm not talking about the screen itself, but I mean the screen thing that flaps on the back of the laptop, notebook, computer, MacBook thing. You know, the thing! God, I am not cut out to be a reviewer. The back flap! I don't know why I find that funny. I'm sure no one else does. It's firm. It doesn't wobble when I type on it. And this is not how I really type. And we all know what Dr. Phil says. If the screen doesn't wobble, the turkey won't gobble. I don't know what the hell that means. All I know is that my screen is a nice screen on top of the flap thing. The next thing I happen to like about this MacBook configuration is that it seems to get faster with every passing revision of Final Cut Pro 10. That's what I choose to use to edit video, so please stop asking that question! I'm not sure if that X is X or 10. I'm going with 10, if only because it's OS 10, not OS X. Look, what I'm saying is that the software I use on this system gets better, so that tells me that the hardware is ample. It also tells me that Apple doesn't always release things in an optimized state at the first version. The next thing I like about my MacBook Pro, which I'm not going to show you today, and if you really want to see it, you can watch the Pirillo vlogs because it shows up there all the time. I like the fact that the keyboard looks and feels the same as that keyboard. I don't know if you've ever noticed that before, but it's great for anybody who develops muscle memory. I don't have to reconfigure my brain when I move from one computer to another. It's like the keyboard is exactly the same. Layout and everything. Wait, do I type like this? I thought it was this. Believe you me, it goes a long way in terms of productivity. The next thing I like about this MacBook is that there are no visible logos in my face. This is in stark contrast to older MacBook Pros that I've owned, which had the words MacBook Pro right underneath the screen. That's kind of annoying. I know what I'm using. I think Apple made the right choice here by keeping the Apple logo on the other side of the flappy thing. Which, by the way, I've covered up with a case and a sticker. I already know what I'm using, and I'm not using a computer just so other people can look at me and go, ooh. Like I said, I tend to use computers because I see them as tools, not as status symbols. And the last thing I want is anybody judging me based upon the technology that I choose to use. If you're gonna judge me by my videos. If you think they're good. Or judge me by the amount of supporters I've attained over the years. All of my super nomies get so many bonuses every single month. 60 exclusive tech videos, as a matter of fact. You can become one of the patrons, aka the Super Nomies, by heading over to chrispirillo.com. Thanks again for taking the time to watch, like, share, subscribe, watch even more of our videos right now, support us in whatever ways that you see fit, interact with us everywhere, every day, and at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices.